Can you sing really high?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so what we need to do is a Temple of the Dog cover of Hunger Strike. I'm going hungry.
That'll be our new intro.
Talking about the SrVerdeX bulk up challenge. I'm going hungry.
We just lost
At the time in college, I was like, I'm gonna start my own saxophone like recording thing, and I'll be called Sax Talk.
Nice.
And I bring in Saxy back.
Oh my gosh, that's good though. I mean, at least you're being creative and thought.
Yeah, it could have been marketable.
Yeah, could have been.
And it would have been like saxophones with like dubstep music in the background.
We lost him. He's gone. Welcome back, my friends.
Thank you, sir. It's been a long time.
It's been such a long.
You went on like vacation for like a month.
No.
Oh, Haas went on vacation for like a month.
Yeah, he's gone. Vacations are relaxing, chill. Let's go hang. Let's go to the beach. Kind of, right? That face. Look at that face. Look at that face.
Okay. Hopefully you can't see the label, or else this will be copyright infringement. But this sucks.
What in the world are you drinking?
It's an energy drink, and it's supposed to take like a birthday cake.
Taste like a birthday cake.
Did I say take? Like that's how bad it is. It
took
made
the
my
S
speech
right out of
happen.
your. Okay. Man.
Yeah, because you know what the S stands for? That's what that tastes like. And I've got nothing else to drink through this podcast, so I'm just going to be drinking a whole lot of S.
I had a cup of coffee somewhere. I don't know where
you
that went.
did.
I think I'm going to push pause real quick.
Like I had to go change a while ago. Please come back with another shirt on, like Mr. Rogers.
I'm just going to come back in a sarong.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even have to cut that one.
I'll do a whole Samoan. I'll do a Samoan island vibe. I'll have to lose a couple more pounds first. The Senior Verde Slimdown did not go so well.
Let's talk about that.
Let's not.
No, let's talk about that because I believe you learned something and you know something now based off of, we made the Senior Verde Slimdown challenge for a month, and what got you off track?
So
H finally throws in Chick-fil-A, throwing down the bus on top of you. Hashtag bus.
Is that even a hashtag? It is now. It is now. No, so we got into the Senior Verde Slimdown, and I had a couple of things come up. I had some travel plans come up, and we were a few weeks in, and man, I just could not get my mojo back. And then we had a lot of things going on, intercompany, a lot of new endeavors happening, things starting, and my mind was all over the place, and my eating was like sketchy. It was less than 50% what I wanted it to be. And yeah, this is what happens when you're a busy CEO or life gets in the way, and you just make excuses after excuse after excuse. And so 15 pounds later, you're like, whoa, that was not a slim down. That was a plump up. That was in my bulking phase, yeah. So I changed my mindset to a bulking phase. Now I'm bulking for about the next 2 or 3 weeks. Once the kids get back to school, I'll be back in a routine. The routine won't be as crazy as it is right now.
The routine is like what's so important. Because in the last few months, because the whole layoff and everything, I really got myself kind of down, and I was in a dark place. We've talked about that many times, but I left the gym that I was at and, needed to find another place to work out temporarily, and got one for like a 3-month contract and kind of just got back in the swing of things, got my eating back, not ever drinking this birthday cake drink ever again. But that's the closest thing to cake I've had in a while. And so now I'm like, you know what? It's the Whitley Slim Down Challenge going into the holidays.
Well, I believe that every now and then you need a change of pace. So I decided to take 2 months off, and because I couldn't get on the workout schedule was fine. I'm still getting up early in the morning. All that's happening. It was just the eating that was really getting out of control. and really due to travel and a lot of other family events and stuff like that. So it's just like, you know what? Give myself a 2-month break. I've been steady 3 years straight, June 16 to June 19. And so I was like, you know what? I think July and August, I just need to pack it in for a little while. And I really feel like that and this is to some of the older crowd listening out there, I really feel like that the age difference from 43 to 46, because I was doing the same thing, nothing was changing. So 4 weeks in, I had 0 results. And I was like, what in the world? 3 years ago, 4 weeks in, it was like powerhouse change.
Yeah.
So I really feel like I need to shake things up, not just do the same old thing, because I'm 3 years older. I'll be 4 years older come next week. Yeah, wow.
I was going to bring that up. You kind of like spoiler alerted me.
Sorry.
Thanks.
By the time everybody hears this, I will already be 47. So, happy birthday to me. You know, yeah.
Birthday cake.
Nope.
Take a drink.
We showed the logo. Anyway, we'll blur it out. So anyway, the point is that even those who have high levels of commitment and high levels of execution, which I would throw myself in that category, still fall off, and you just have to push reset, and it has to be important, and you have to make it a priority. And so for me, I just gave myself that window of 2 months, and I'm going to come back in a different way. I'll still be working out, but I'm going to try 2 or 3 different things to kind of shake up my metabolism. So not just meals, but I'm going to do different cardio stuff. I'm going to do different lifting program. It's just different. Yeah. Change it up a little bit. You know, I also use those 2 months to do a lot of get up-to-date medical evals on just everything. I went and had my ears checked, my eyes checked, going to see the dentist, and going to see the skin doctor, see if there's any spots that need to be removed, all that kind of stuff. So it was a good time to schedule those kind of appointments and things, and really do July and August just as a whole holistic reset for my whole person. So
yeah, cool. So when you're 48, so a year from now, going into your 48th birthday, what do you want to have accomplished?
That's great. You talking about health and wellness, or are we talking
in
about
general?
In general. Wow.
Like rather than say that, okay, we're not going to have like a New Year's resolution. We're just going to say before you're 48, what do you want to be different than what is right now while you're still 46 for one more week?
That's very interesting. I think a few things. So everything kind of is interconnected, right? So we always talk about the connective tissue from all the different things I do, but you know, I may have goals personally that if I don't grow my team, I can't achieve. And if I don't grow my team, then I can't achieve other things that aren't personal, but they're business related. Or if I don't work on this part of my personality, it may keep me and hold me back from this part of my growth in my relationship with my spouse or my children. So everything's so connected, it'd be hard to just give you a quick litany of all the things I want to improve upon. But some benchmarks that would be great. I think I want to have at least 1, 2, 3 more endeavors on the ground and operating and running. That means businesses. One of those is already in the works, and that's funny because that's kind of a hint. But the other 2 will be something that's coming in the future that we've barely just scratched the surface on. And then there's a few other fun things. I probably need to, because my kids are getting a little bit older, I'm going to have to allocate more evenings dedicated to activities. I've got a first grader, third grader, seventh grader, and then a preschooler. And all those kids have activities. They have soccer, they have basketball, they have dance. And so every freaking night's got something going on. Yeah. So I've really got to be more intentional with that calendar and what's going on with them. And, my wife and I have really tuned into that and on the same page with that. So that's a goal. I guess you could just say better dad, but really I'm not really into that. I think I just want more relationship with my kids. I don't know that that's better or worse from a perspective outsider looking in, but I just want more relationship with them as individuals, right? So I want to know my daughter more. I want to know my sons more, not just all of them together in one room acting crazy. Right. So,
that makes sense.
And then, I think the health and wellness side of things, I want to get back to a more stable and sustainable version of myself from a physical nature, right? So what does that look like? Is that runner thin? Is that moderately bulked? Is that comfortable in my, diet plan meal plan to where I'm I'm not 165 pounds, but I'm 189 or something like that. And just getting to a place where I'm comfortable aesthetically. My biggest, for me, it's, I worry, I don't worry. I cross a certain barrier of the way I look. And once I cross that barrier, I'm like, I don't care. Right. So, 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks, whatever. I'll skip today. But when I'm under that imaginary barrier, and I don't even know what that weight looks like or but that physique looks like, when I'm under that, I'm rigid. It's easy to be rigid because I'm like, oh, look at all the work I'm putting in. I can't do that. Yeah. But when I cross that barrier just a little bit, and let's just say it's a weight. When I get past 189 or 190, if that's the line in the sand, it becomes easier for me to not give a shit, as opposed to if I'm 182, I'm like, oh, I can't get to 185. I better, slow down my eating this, or I can't have that much pasta, maybe more portion control and things like that. So I think just getting to a place to where I understand my physique, my body type, my metabolism better at 48, 47, whatever, because it's different from what it was 3 years ago. It's different from what it was 10 years ago. It's different from so I think just being more in tune from that level. So those are probably some accomplishments I could look down the road and say in a year I can do better in all those areas.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty good.
And for you, when you're 35,
can we slow down? That's 6 months from now. We're actually 6 months apart. Well, I mean, not really.
Yeah,
we're like several years in 6 months.
But yours is the 15th of February. Mine's the 14th of August.
You know what that means, right? We've been doing this for 6 months.
Wow.
Because episode 1 was...
Congratulations, friend. That's awesome.
Don't drink this.
That's cool. And I think this is episode 20, 21, 22, somewhere right in there. We record them and then we kind of put them out as they're contextually applicable, but they're usually chronologically advanced. Right. But on occasion, I think we miss that. We're like, oh, that one's better. Put that out this week or something. So... But yeah, it's been a good, fun ride.
It has
6
been.
months.
6 months.
Wow. And you know what's funny is that sounds like a long time to some, but we talked early on when we hit the double digits about getting to the triple digit, the 100, 101, 102. And so we just barely scratched the surface. We're 20% there or whatever,
Yeah.
In 6 months though.
And I have a feeling episode 25, we're going to make a big announcement.
A big announcement at 25. Why 25?
It just sounds like a good number.
Cool. Okay.
They'll probably have him before then, hopefully.
Or it could be 29 or something. Yeah.
No, hope not.
Yeah.
So
you a year out talking about where you want to be 6 months from now or whatever, when you're in your zone, you just want to be employed or have some gig going.
Well, I think
you're working on all that.
I'm working on that. And so in full transparency, probably when this podcast is released, I will no longer have a severance. I'm doing a lot of things.
You'll be officially broke.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I'll be officially hustling. So, but I think I've done a lot of things.
So does that mean you've not been officially hustling so far?
No, I think I've been hustling, but I've had like a leash on me.
Oh.
Because there's that leash of comfortability that kept me from really getting out there.
I got you.
And so it's actually kind of funny. I talked to...
That's pretty funny.
I deal with anxiety and situational depression.
Right.
So I do have a counselor that I talk to from time to time. And I was talking to him this week. And I was like, I just feel like I'm back in a routine. I finally have momentum going. And, there may be this brief gap where I've got to just, get some odd and end type jobs to get going because I don't really want to take another desk job just for temporary. And he goes... No, that's called complacency. And if you do that again, I will drive from Houston to kick your ass.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
That's hard love sometimes. You need that.
That's right, man.
So, yeah, shout out for a PSA. Get counseling if you need it. It definitely helps.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Well, I, too, will also, I think I said one time, punch you in the mouth. Did I say punch you in the mouth?
Well, you're bigger than me. If we filter.
If we filter, yeah. Yeah. We might have actually just cut that. I'm not sure what that was.
But, no, don't cut that.
But yeah, no, I could see that you have a propensity to do that, but you're making strides, and I think that you're more dialed in and more in tune with the real Jamey,
right?
than a version of Jamey that you were trying to cultivate or your outside world was trying to cultivate for you.
Right.
Is that
makes
sense?
And what's really cool is I have tons of support from my parents. Like usually it's like, do the safe thing, go and you just got to have a job and get it. And they're like, no, I mean, you know what? If you're hustling now, you've got momentum going. If you got to file for unemployment for a couple weeks or a month, do it. And then keep going with the momentum you've got because the fruits of your labor are going to harvest.
Sure. That's good.
So that's really cool.
And I think too that the more you exercise that muscle of risk and the unknown, the stronger it gets.
Yeah.
And then when you are dealt a blow that may be larger than this one in the future, you recover quicker or you brush it off.
Right.
It's not even that's what I would say about myself. My risk meter is extremely exercised. My go mentality is extremely exercised. All those muscles are strong. And so when I'm dealt a blow or something, even though it might be emotional or financial or something, I'm 30 seconds, I'm moving on. I'm not dwelling. I'm not thinking about it overly and that kind of stuff. There are some things that I contemplate, but I view that in a different state of mind than I do like something negative. A negative impact is something that's like a blow. But then there's negative things that happen that's more of just like day to day or things. And those are things that I contemplate. The bad stuff, I brush off. The negative stuff that just happens on a daily, that's the stuff I might contemplate. And for good reason, sometimes when you contemplate things like that, you self-reveal.
Yeah.
Like you may think you're in the right because of this negative situation and you're like, well, that shouldn't happen to me. And then you really dig deep into your own psyche and you're like, oh, wait, I am a dick, or I'm not the person I thought I was. And so those reflections I think are healthy.
I think a lot of times it's kind of fueled by also like, because my personality type is very fueled by emotion. And so if I feel successful, a lot of times I'll come across as just being more cocky.
Yeah.
Rather than being more humble. Or if I feel like, my dog just died, I can't hide that. Everybody in the world knows something's wrong with me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gotcha. So Jocko Willink has a thing called normal face. And he's a Navy SEAL, ex-Navy SEAL, who has a podcast, super guy. Actually going to see him in September. Wow. A thing called a muster. One of my colleagues and partner friend, Brad Root, and I are going to that. But he has there's a slideshow or a video. I may forward it to you. It's a little YouTube video. But he has this thing called normal face. And basically what it is it says that no matter what's happening around you, that you just have this one look, this one face. It's your mad, it's your happy, it's your angry, it's your depressed, it's your sad, it's your put out. It's just one face. And so what he's encouraging people to do through that is like get a hold of your emotions, control your emotions inside and in your mind, and just have that normal face no matter what happens.
And we're going to it's not like an RBF face.
No. His is like,
okay.
It's just a straight up, everything is that face, Yeah, it's not the raised eyebrow for sure. But it's kind of funny. It's a really good dialogue. And I don't know. I think the first time I heard him mention that was maybe a year or so ago. I don't listen to him as often as my colleague and friend. Once or twice a month, I catch some because I've got a lot going on. But I think with his commute, he probably listens every day or every other day or something. But I think the first time I was introduced to the concept of his concept of normal face was about a year ago.
Yeah.
But it really is. And so if you can get some of that training and thought process going, then nobody will know when your dog dies.
Right.
And nobody will know when you're mad. And you can just negotiate and talk all day long, and they don't know whether you're put out or whether you're frustrated or whether you're happy. And, it's a pretty cool concept.
Which that kind of ties in what I want to talk about next episode is negotiation.
Oh, negotiations, yeah.
But so, just a sidebar going back to that. So,
let's sidebars.
Well, I mean, not necessarily a sidebar. We're getting back into the meat of things. I think I just derailed us. So how do you do it? So say, in the past months, you've had a couple family tragedies that have happened. And how have you held it together while still being CEO of a company to not let that affect your employees?
So I use my mantra of acknowledge and move on. If it's a grieving moment, I grieve. I try to do it quickly and then just move past it, because inevitably none of the participation in the long-term outcomes of those emotional ups and downs produce any fruit. They don't. You can grieve for 6 months when somebody passes if you want. It doesn't change a thing. It just doesn't. And so when things like that happen, me, again, exercising that muscle over the course of the 46, 7 years I've been around, I've learned to adapt to those things. And so there are moments, we call them, it was a dark place or it was a bad spot. We call that sometimes. They just don't last very long. I just move on. I may wear it. I may wear it on my face or my shoulder for a couple of days. It may be evident to those closest to me, like the people that spend the most time with me. They'll know it. I mean, you even recognized a few weeks back or several weeks back, I walked in and you were like, something's not right. And so we did something and then snapped out of it and I moved on. But I was in the throes of that situation, and in the course of 30 minutes, it was over.
Right.
Not 3 days.
Well, that's also what happens. You put more of me in your life.
That's right. I put more Jamey in my life. Everybody needs a little more Jamey. That could be a jingle. But so for me, it's just it didn't happen overnight. And the one thing I want to say is that maybe I'm unique in that way. But the more hard times you go through or have gone through, the more resilient you are to bounce back and move through that stuff more quickly, because you've got years of the days of depression.
Yeah.
You've got weeks of the sadness and the lamenting and all that. And then as you age and you continually experience those hard times, you get calloused and you get, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So we're going to open up some huge vulnerability.
Well, think about it. Somebody who, I'm not going to speak for anyone, but let's just say a male or female had a tragic childhood because their parents were deadbeats.
Right.
They're going to have a little bit more resiliency going into their 20s than a 19-year-old who had great parents and everything, and he gets into the workplace, he or she can't handle the pressure because it's just pressure of the workplace, and their parents were great, and they came out of a fairy tale situation. But the kid whose parents were deadbeat people that didn't care and didn't do right by them, and they grew up hard, when they get to the workplace, it's not so hard because they're used to everybody being shitty, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like that. It's situational, and as for me, the harder things I've learned and the more pain I've gone through, life circumstance and cycles, I think that it's just allowed me to exercise that muscle, and I try to move past things quickly. Now, caveat, I still have both my parents.
Yeah.
We're not close, but they're mom and dad. And I have a stepmother. My father remarried after my parents separated. But I still have both of them. I have no idea how I'm going to react when I lose my parents.
Man, it's my biggest fear.
Will I be as resilient as I am on some of these other things? I have lost people close to me.
Yeah.
But not my parents. And not like I had a sibling that passed a few years ago, but we weren't that close. And I've had school friends and people I grew up with and people that, I've known for years past, but we wasn't parents, right?
Right.
So aside from that, I don't know how that'll make me feel. I would like to think that I understand the finality of life and that everything moves on and that's just a natural progression. And so I'll move around it. But I mean, how do I know it might not devastate me for 6 months and I'll go suck my thumb in a corner? I don't know yet. Hadn't experienced it.
Right.
There's a lot of things I have experienced and I get over them like that.
Right.
So I think it's all situational and everybody's wired differently.
And I feel like I've had to go through a lot. My 20s were really hard. And that's also when I got into comedy. But I think what got me through those hard times was making people laugh. Because for that brief moment, they weren't going through what I was going through. If they were there hurting, like we had a show 3 months ago where it was a woman's first birthday without her husband of 50 years. You mentioned that
in one of the past podcasts.
And that's why we do that, is because we want people to have that escape. So that was always kind of my escape. But then when I go to work or I go somewhere where my heart's not in it, everybody knows it. And so I think that's why I think a lot of doing what you're passionate about and why you should do what you love will help you get through those hard times, because then you can rely on where your heart is.
Yeah, and if you can't, there's still a lot of talk about passion. I think it's going to happen for years to come. But if you can't make money fulfilling your passion, then at least incorporate your passion into what you're doing to make money.
Right.
Like, right. Or don't give up on it. Do it as a side deal, or do it as a volunteer thing, even if it's that important to you. But I just think that don't give up on it. Just continue to pursue it, but pursue it in a novel way, and not like all full force into it.
Right.
But yeah, that's
kind of like what I had to look at. Was like, okay, what are my skill sets? Yeah, I love acting, I love comedy, but there's other things I can use those tools, like real estate. Talking to people, and it's all comes back to I'm a people person.
Yeah.
And I like to establish connections and relationships with other people.
Right.
And so that's why I'm glad I'm headed the way that I'm headed, because I'm heading where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And but going back to the birthday, you actually share the same birthday as my dad, who will turn 70 next week.
Are you kidding me?
No.
August 14th.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So my dad turns 70 years old. He's my biggest hero. There's no greater man than my dad. And, that's something that I grew up in a kind of a yours, mine, and ours kind of thing. So my siblings are same age as you.
Yeah.
And so that's why we get along so well. That's why I seem more mature.
There you go.
And so it's, I've always grown up having the parents that were older than all my friends. And so
I hear you.
My entire life, my biggest fear has been losing my parents. And I feel like the pain that I've had to go through is setting me up to be able to go through those times.
Sure.
And I don't know where I was going with that, but
you're just talking about loss, so we've been talking about it a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people are dealing with it in different situations across the country, around the world. A lot of people deal with it in different ways. The one thing I keyed in on just now, you said you felt like your parents were older than all your friends. Your dad was obviously 35-ish when you were born.
Right.
Mine was 42.
Wow.
My dad's 80. He'll be 89 in October, and I'm just 47.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and my mother's 82. Sorry, Mom. I wasn't supposed to tell anybody that. You're really 79.
But you look 52.
Yeah. But that's, pain and tragedy and all those kinds of things, and getting into a bad spot, a dark spot. It just takes resilience. It takes time. You got to surround yourself with positive people too. Mm-hmm. If you have surrounded yourself with a bunch of people who think negatively, act negatively, and participate in negative thought processes and actions, and then you have a tragedy, or you have a loss, or you have a setback, or you have a difficult time, you've got a very, diminished chance of coming out of that situation better than you went into it.
Right.
Whereas if you surround yourself with positive people and people who think like you now, or think like myself, and just see the light at the end of the tunnel, and let's keep going, then I think you can come through those things and have a positive experience. Does that make sense?
No, it does completely.
A positive experience from a bad event.
Which, okay, so leading into this, so I guess as a leader, as a CEO, you've got to have a level of empathy.
Oh man.
And I think a lot of CEOs who don't really have empathy. I think there's a lot of people out there that say they'll claim to have empathy, or they claim to have compassion, but in a day they're still a prick.
Well, we were joking about this the other day. Another gentleman on my team that's in his 60s was in here, and we were talking to one of the younger guys, and we were joking about having the water cut off at our residence because we didn't pay the bill, or joking about the gas being on, and using the gas stove to heat the apartment because we'd let the electricity get cut off because we didn't have the money because we were partying, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I know what it's like to miss a car payment. I know what it's like to be fearful of you losing your home. I've been there. And so all those tragedies that some people get to my level, they never experienced them. They went from one high to the next high to the next high, or they were educated, or they had a great family. So that's not bad. That's not wrong. They can still participate in empathy. But when you've been in a hard spot, and then one of your team members goes through a hard spot, you are truly empathetic, Now, I try not to allow that to pull me down.
Right.
Because sometimes you will have people that just tragedy. They're like a magnet for tragedy and bad shit. And so you've just got to kind of, okay, well, move around that. But, you know, I don't participate in insanity, madness, and that kind of stuff, meaning that it just happens repetitively.
Yeah, doing the same thing.
Yeah, but I am empathetic when something negative happens to somebody. When somebody else's elderly parent gets sick, I'm empathetic because I've been there when mine got sick.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when someone has a loss in their family of life or a pet, even though I don't have pets, we have a lady here who is kind of a SPCA boarding mother, kind of cares for the bad pets when they come in, and she loses pets all the time, and she cries a lot, you know. And I just tell her, I'm so sorry that happened, you know, and I'm empathetic because I have lost an animal. I don't have any animals now, but I'm empathetic to that, and we try to just move past it and go on. But yeah, I think there's a lot to that. When you are in a leadership position, I guess because I didn't come from up here, I don't lead from up here. I lead from down here. I'm on the floor, you know? And so I don't think of myself too highly. I'm not, Gary Vee likes to say fancy. I'm not fancy. I don't feel like. And so, you know, there's a few comforts and a few luxuries that I've been afforded because of my hard work. But I'm still a leader who has a very well-grounded view and position of like humanity and where I fit into that, you know, thing. So
now all I can think about is Reba McEntire's Fancy.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, that's okay because I came in today singing Margaritaville for some reason and was hollering all down the hallways. And,
you know, I was actually thinking about that the other day. I was like, you know, we got away from talking about music. It was kind of like a theme to end every podcast for a while, and then we kind of just stopped.
Well, we should talk about it more. You know, with the implementation of the guitar company and some other strategic things that one of our companies is doing with a music venue type establishment.
Which that'll be announced after this is
be announced.
This is released.
Before this episode is released, that will be public, and then we'll come in talking about it the next episode or something. Yeah. There will probably be some moment when something on my social feed somewhere has me with my hair down in a microphone. I'm just saying.
Even flow, and the words like thunder rides. He don't know, but he chases life away. Sorry, that's my Eddie Vedder impression.
And those are not the lyrics. That was close. Pretty close. Thoughts arrive like butterflies, so he chases them away.
That's it. Can you sing really high?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so what we need to do is a Temple of the Dog cover of Hunger Strike.
You know what?
I'm going hungry.
That'll be our new intro. Hungry, yeah.
Talking about the Senior Verde Bulk Up Challenge. I'm going hungry.
We just lost him. He's gone.
Well, I get on a Chris Cornell kick, and I just.
But with the music, there's a lot of fun in that. It's kind of like you with your comedy. You know, you keep doing the comedy, you keep doing your acting gigs, you keep doing all that, but you still have a career.
Yeah,
I've got several careers inside my structure of my family of companies, but it's all about fun. So we're going to start exercising those fun muscles, and things are going to happen. And it's inevitable. It's going to end up on film, and you all fine folks will get to see it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully I'll be there.
I haven't been on stage in 12 years.
Wow,
12 years. I have not played an instrument nor sang publicly other than goofing off here at the office. And everybody's like, "Oh, here we go again." You know.
Do you need a saxophone player?
That would be good
because I play sax.
Yeah, that would be good.
I actually at one point because I did it all. My dad's a band director, so I did saxophone all through high school, did it all through college, and I was going to be a band director, but then I decided I was chasing my father's legacy.
Yeah.
But at the time in college, I was like, I'm gonna start my own saxophone like recording thing, and I'll be called Sax Talk.
Nice.
And I'm bringing Saxy back.
Oh my gosh. That's good, though. I mean, at least you're being creative and thought, you know.
Yeah, it could have been marketable, you know.
Yeah, could have been.
And it would have been like saxophones with like dubstep music in the background.
We lost him. He's gone. But yeah, no, that's fun. I think it's going to be good. We should continue to exercise that music muscle in the episodes to come, and to talk about that stuff. So, you have something you want to throw out as far as music goes?
So, what are you currently listening to? But I want to preface this with, I said that's another word. Preface is my new endeavor. I'm going to preface it with, it cannot be past current times. It has to be in the present day and age. Like they're present artists right now, not like classic rock, not like the 90s or 80s.
Right, man. No problem.
Like current artists today
that I'm into.
That you're into.
So I'm really into Whiskey Myers.
Okay.
That's that southern rock, country, slam, just good stuff. I am really into, top of my head, a lot of the hardcore rap guys out there. You want
to have a freestyle rap battle?
No, but I mean, I like Gunna and of course Drake. He's so big, but I mean, I like DaBaby. He's good. He got a cool song right now. It's kind of funny because he's got a song called Suge, and it's I'm a young CEO, this kind of stuff. But there's this one little lick, this little hook in the song. He goes, huh? And it's just him saying, huh? Like, question something.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a brother-in-law, one of my sisters. Her husband passed away several years ago. But I can remember as a kid, he said something like that, and it sounded just like that. And so in my brain, I'm like,
wow.
I'm thinking and so I resonate with that tiny little split-second thing inside that song hooked me the first time I heard it. And then I started listening to the song and all the lyrics and everything. But I really think he's talented. I like him. And I mean, you could say Lil Uzi Vert and those guys. I like. I'm thinking of Kodak Black. There's just, I like a bunch of them. So that would be probably the most current. And then, as far as like rock, I said Whiskey Myers, the Steel Woods. Those guys are good too. They got an interesting sound. I really like that.
You know what we should do? We should start a Everything I Know Spotify playlist that everybody can listen to.
Oh, yeah?
That'd be good. We're currently listening to.
Yeah. Of course, we know Chance Pena. He's got a lot going on for a young artist. He's a really good songwriter. He's working his craft in the songwriting thing. And then every now and then he lands a song on like the 90210. Or
last night.
He was on the Nashville show when it was on Nashville, that big series they had. He had
Up and Away.
Yeah, he had that on that movie.
Or 5 Feet Apart. He had his song Up and Away.
Yeah. So Chance is good to listen to. So I'm trying to think. There's another young blues artist that I like. Her name is Allie Venable.
Yeah, she's local.
She's like 19 or 20.
Right,
she's local, but she's not like she's touring all over the world.
Yeah, and
I like seeing that. Anytime I can find a female guitar lead that's really, especially in the blues genre, I mean, like, whoa, that's just like, that gets it for me.
So you're like a Lita Ford fan back in the day?
Yeah. There's something, it's not sexy. It's like, wow.
Yeah. It's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's off, it's off a little bit. I think about people like Sheryl Crow. She's a great songwriter, great musician. Not doing anything currently, I don't think, for the most part, but. And Jewel, she was a good songwriter, or is a good songwriter. I'm talking like they're gone. But, so I'll just go back to the Whiskey Myers, Steel Woods, not really text of, I don't know what you call it. I'm not sure what the genre would be called, but to me, it's just like Southern rock.
Yeah.
And they're local, which is cool.
Right. Which is kind of ties into mine. I'm a big fan of Paul Cawthon, who's from Tyler.
Okay.
And he's in Nashville writing right now. I think he's September is about to have a new release.
Yeah.
But Rolling Stone had recently wrote he was one of the top singles to come out. It's called Cocaine Country Dancing.
Wow.
But he's got he's like an outlaw country vibe, and sounds a lot like Johnny Cash and all the classics, man. He's all tied in one.
People just don't know the talent that comes out of East Texas.
Like Patrick Mahomes.
From the football standpoint, but not from the music. I'm talking about music. You got Miranda Lambert.
Yeah.
Casey Musgraves.
Right.
The Whiskey Myers, they're good. They're from a smaller town south of here.
Don Henley.
Don Henley was from this area. I'm talking current too, though. Who else we got? We got Chance Pena. He's on the up and coming. God, I know I'm going to forget somebody, and they're going to get mad at me. But
Joe Nichols.
Oh, Joe Nichols is here. He's not from here, but he lives here. He lives here now. The one that's from here, Neil McCoy, was from this area, a little east of here.
I drove past his house yesterday, actually.
But just East Texas, you know?
Right,
so it's like you've got, and of course that's a little heavy country, but there's some, we have a good, like, list of people through the years from the 50s, 60s, 70s that have come up through this area or from this area, you know?
And actually, the person who wrote My Heart Will Go On from Titanic lives in Chapel Hill.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's correct. I did not know that.
Yeah, is it the lyrics or the composed that particular song?
Wow. That's very interesting.
Right.
We're going to fact check that, but you're probably right because you're music dad background. So
yeah,
interesting. That's very interesting. So there's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of new music out there. But right now I'm like I said, I'm kind of from a new artist standpoint, that's where I'm kind of landing. From an overall musical standpoint, I've been listening to a ton of 70s rock, getting way back and even going into some of the 60s with the Stones and the Beatles, and then the old country.